Got here on the gravy train. Guess my mama had a real bad start to the game.
George Michael was born in 1963 in North London, the youngest of 3 children. His father, Jack Panos, was a Greek Cypriot immigrant who had moved to the UK in the 1950s and had married an English woman, George's mother, Leslie Angold Harris.
My early life was definitely very working class, and both of my parents came from real, genuine poverty. But I think I absolutely realized in my mid-teens that I was the son of an immigrant. You know, I understood what the difference is between my ambitions and my almost on my work ethic was in comparison with the people around me. And I understood that that was what made me not very English. You know, it's this kind of, this shameless kind of graft, move up, graft, move up, graft, move up, which was what my father gave me. And I think genetically I have his drive, so I have to be lucky. I think I'm very lucky in that. But my mother, you see, was the complete opposite. So the messages were very mixed at home. My mother didn't want us to move out of our working class neighbourhood. And my father was determined as an immigrant that we were going to be a middle class family.
But I was wondering how you feel about immigration now. I mean, because there is so much, particularly in the last 5 or 6 years, and it's been so much a political issue. And as a second-generation immigrant, how do you feel about the resistance to immigration, the way that some papers treat the whole idea of immigrants? I mean,
well, it's funny because most people wouldn't realise, but the Cypriots being one of the countries in the Commonwealth that were kind of inviting people to come to the mother country to rebuild the place after the Second World War. There were places that would say no blacks, no Irish, no Greeks, you know, no dogs, kind of. And so my father was part of that, and my mother's father did not attend their wedding because he was Greek, and that in those times he still saw that as absolutely the same thing as marrying someone of a completely different colour, you know, and so I was very much I'm only a little way away from that experience. I had a bit of a row the other night. I went to my sister's birthday party, and her friends and I were sitting in a restaurant, and things got a bit heated because I'd had a couple of glasses of wine. Because I have such a problem with separatism of any kind. I feel there's a horrible connection between separatism and fundamentalism in general. And I think it's not, I think the area of society which struggles for identity is obviously the most vulnerable. And I think the working class in this country and what is developing as an underclass are being pulled into these religious ways of thinking simply by their lack of identity, whether they be unemployed or whether they struggle in this country, or whether their family isn't integrated properly. I just believe that there's this horrible thing going on where people are retreating into their corners. I do think the reason I had a fight about this was because it is a confusing issue. A lot of people feel that the strongest way for the individual to move forward is to look back and find their heritage. And I think that this only seems to divide us. I don't see it doing, you know, I do not really approve of having the MOBO Awards. I think it's ludicrous that we don't acknowledge black artists more within the Brit Awards.